Hi guys, it's Lanikia. I am coming to you with season 2, episode 10 of the Handmaid's Tale called The Last Ceremony. Sorry the video's a little bit late. A lot late. I've been in orientation and training all week and everything, so I've been a little bit behind on everything. And for my work at home people, I will be coming with videos this weekend because I know I need to catch up with you guys as well. Anyways, so let's just get into this episode. So we start out with Emily in the bedroom, and she's doing, the ceremony, the ritual every month, where they're pretty much raping her. And in the background, we can hear June speaking, and June just talks about how it's just a job, a job that you hate, them not kissing you during the raping ceremony is a good thing because it makes it a little bit more bearable, and you just detach she's just speaking about how you just detach yourself from the whole entire moment, and you kind of just leave your body. So as this is going on, as June is speaking, Commander Roy is on top of Emily, and his wife is and it was just creepy. I mean, it's always creepy to see it, but it was like just looking at Commander Roy's wife, her whole face as the whole thing was going on, it's just creepy. But anyways, I was like, was anyone else thinking like, is he getting sick? He looks like he's getting sick. Well, he was, because then the next thing we know is after he's done with the whole rape and everything, he backs away, and as he's walking away, he collapses. And then his wife runs to him to go and check on him and see what's going on with him. And we find, and then she's telling Emily, go get help. And Emily's like, no, it's better if I stay on my back or whatever. I mean, Emily, why would you go and run and get help for someone who just raped you? Like that's his wife. Like, they're so detached on reality. It's not even funny. But so then the wife goes and she runs and I guess gets the Martha, Doris or Dolores. She's running to try to find her she's trying to get some help. And then while she's gone, Emily starts kicking the commander because, I mean, dead or alive, he just raped her, and, she has some pent up frustration. So she starts kicking the commander, and that was that whole scene there. So then we go to the next scene, and the handmaids are all shopping. And did the shopping market look different to anyone? It looked different to me. I was like, is this the same market? But maybe it's just a different angle or whatever. Maybe it's because I don't know. But anyway, so the handmaids are all in the market, and they're gossiping about like what they think. I heard, he was inside of her when he died, or I heard this. They were just gossiping about it, and I'm like, dang, y'all know that it's already a bad experience, but for you guys to just sit there and be gossiping about it or whatever. But I guess they have to do something, have something to talk about. But so anyways, Eden is at the market as well. So when June is walking, she's trying to get to Emily, and she sees Eden there, and Eden tells her, I think she's wanting to pick up some kind of dessert or something, and June doesn't care. She was like, yeah, but Isaac was like, that sounds wonderful. So Isaac and Eden are still doing this little flirting thing that they've been doing. Anyways, June finally goes to and speaks to Emily, and she tells Emily, she's just checking on her. The scene is if she's all right, and Janine is there as well. So Janine says that Emily is going to a new house soon, and hopefully it's not as bad as as the Commander Roy's house, or everything. So June lets Emily and Janine know that Maura got out. So Maura is in Canada, and Janine is just like, praise be. Hopefully we can all be there one day. But Emily, you could tell like the fight is like out of her. Like she's pretty much given up. So then June is like, what is wrong with you? Like, if she made it to Canada, we could make it too. And she also lets her know that, and she also lets her know that if she can make it to Canada, we can make it too. And then Emily tells her, she also speaks about her child and everything, her little boy. And Emily is like, I'm not his mother anymore. And June is just like, what are you talking about? Like, he's safe in Canada with your wife. He's safe. He still loves you. Why are you not, like, have some type of hope is what June is pretty much saying. And Emily is just, again, there's nothing there. She's just given up pretty much at this point. So then June lets her know, at least you have a child, and because she had to give up Hannah. She was like, so you're not out here suffering as well as not knowing what's going on with your child. And so then I think this upset June, like when they were having this conversation. So then June starts having cramps, contractions, and then Janine lets them know. And then so we're off to the races with this whole ceremony. So then we see that the van that pulls up, because June is getting dropped off in the van because she's had contractions. So the van pulls up and Nick is there to help June out. Mind you, Eden is behind June. Nick gets June out and he completely, like, he just left that girl. So I was just like, Nick, you got to do a little bit better. But of course, I'm going to let him slide on this one because he was concerned about the baby. But Eden did notice that he left her in that van and didn't try to help her down or whatever. And then when Nick and June were like walking up the steps, that was like a moment because they both know we're about to be parents, or they thought they were about to be parents or whatever. So then as they're walking up the steps, Serena Joy comes out and she gets down on her knees in front of June's stomach. And she gets down on her knees in front of June's stomach and she starts quoting the scripture and everything. She tells June, we did good, offer it. This is the will of God. And June lets her know, we can't question. No one knows what the things of God. And then June goes up in the house and, it's like, Serena Joy, go on and get up in the house. So then the next scene is June is in the Waterford's room. And so she's in the Waterford's room and she's in like this white dress because she's getting ready to, have the baby and everything. And so she's walking around the room and she's just thinking. And at one point, she says she's happy because she'll never have to be in this room again because, they're shipping her off as soon as she has this baby. So she's happy she'll never have to be in this room again. And she touches one of the bedposts and then she jerks her hand away from the bedpost because, every time she was raped the commander, when he was climaxing, would always grab the bedpost. So she jerks her hands away from the bedpost. So anyways, so we see like the activity of the house, like the Marthas are getting ready, the wives are there, the handmaids are there, the commanders are there. And you know what? I was wondering, okay, this is a high-risk pregnancy. So why are they not in, because they supposedly have a really great hospital, and we saw that when, the baby was sick. So why are they not doing this in the hospital? As much as they value children, I would think that they would want to be in the hospital, for each child that was born. But that was just my thoughts. What do y'all think? So then Aunt Lydia comes in with all the handmaids and everything. And then Aunt Lydia starts quoting scriptures to June and all that. And June was kind of in pain. And I was like, okay, because I probably would have been like, get off of me. Like, this is not what I want to hear right now. Whatever. Because you helped this process of me being raped. Even though it's Nick's baby, I've still been raped because of the commander. And you helped in all of that process. But anyways, so then we see the commander is in his office and all the commanders are there. He's passing out cigars. Nick is there watching out. So Nick is there and everything. And one of the commander that lost his arm, I always forget his name. I forgot his name. I think it's Commander Robert. No, it's not Robert. Anyways, he is there and yeah, it is Robert. He is there and he's congratulating the commander on the baby coming, and he's saying that he's congratulating the commander on the baby coming, and he's also letting him know that baby Charlotte is doing much better. She's picked up a few ounces and everything, so that's a good thing. So then then he says, oh, and we should also congratulate Commander Horace because, and he was a black commander, and I was like, have I seen a black commander in this whole thing? But anyways, he comes over and his wife is actually pregnant. So the Commander Waterford says, oh no, Handmaid's for you, to Commander Horace. And he says, no, hopefully, all the future commanders will be, as blessed or as lucky. That's funny. How the one commander who's had the baby on his own is black. Anyways. Because you know how they do that whole stereotype about black men and, slavery and wanting to stud them out like they were animals and stuff. So it's funny that the one commander in this show who had his own child with his wife is black. I digress. But anyways, so then another commander comes in, like he's done talking to them because Commander Waterford doesn't want to hear that. So he's done talking to them, and then this other commander come in. I don't know what his name was, but he comes in and he congratulates the commander, and then he says like his handmaid is reaching her expiration date. Like they're really treating these people like animals. That she's reaching her expiration date, which means she's gotten older, and like she probably can't have any more children, and that. I guess he's on the hunt for another one. And he asked the Commander Waterford, what about, how do you like your... And he said she wasn't much fun anyways. He's just a pig. But, so then he asked Commander Waterford, how does he like his handmaid? And he said, well, she was fruitful or everything. I think this commander wants June. He was like, she was fruitful and everything. And he was like, and not a bad looker. I mean, it's just sad. So then Serena is getting into bed, and this always kills me. Even like the first season when the other commander's wife got into bed, and then she's telling Serena, oh, you deserve this, and Serena gets into bed like she's the one having a baby, and I'm like, this is like, when y'all were creating this whole thing, this didn't have to be a part of it. Like, as far as Gilead, well, why would you say, and we're going to have the wife act as though she's having a baby, so we're going to make her get in the bed and everything. Like, she's not feeling these pains. But then Serena's all in bed, and it's all serene and supposed to be so lovely and beautiful. And then Aunt Lydia comes in. And so Serena already knows something is wrong. I'm sure she thought it was something with the baby. So then the next thing we see is Serena Joy going into the room with June. And June is sitting there with a smug look on her face. And Aunt Lydia says, false labor. And Aunt Lydia made a smart remark too. She said, next time you want to time the contractions or whatever. And Emily has a little smile on her face. And Serena, because all of the Marthas are in there. All of the wives are in there. All of the handmaids are in there. So Serena's embarrassed. Like, she's embarrassed by this or whatnot. And so Rita has to go and tell... She goes into the commanders, where the commanders are all celebrating. And she goes and tells Nick. And Nick looks over at the commander because, they're having to tell him, she's not having that baby today. So then we go back to the bedroom. And it's just Serena, June, Aunt Lydia, and the doctor. And the doctor says, no, this baby's not coming anytime soon. And so Serena Joy's like, well, induce her today. Because, she's embarrassed. She's like, let's go ahead and induce her today. And he was like, no, this is a high-risk pregnancy. We're not inducing her. But he does let her know the baby is 9 pounds. And because she's so petite, because June is so petite, that we're going to have to, induce her in 1 to 2 weeks so we won't have to do a cesarean or whatever. So then Aunt Lydia was like, well, there's natural ways instead of, having to induce someone. We could do spicy tea, make on salad. And then June is like, and Serena Joy is just like, tea? Like, you want to give her tea? I want this baby to come, and you're talking about tea. So then June, always the petty one, is like, is the tea really spicy? Because, it could cause heartburn, and that's bad for the baby. And so Serena Joy is just like, we're going to do whatever we have to do. And she says, because Uffred is going to a different district. Like, not only does she want her out of the house, she does not want to see her. And June, again, always the petty one, is just tells Serena, Yeah, I think it's best if I'm, going if I leave. Yeah, I think it's best if we never see each other again. And so, it's always just a little jive. Well, I mean, Serena deserves it. Don't get me wrong, she deserves it. But Aunt Lydia, she looks over at Aunt Lydia after she tells Serena it's best that we never see each other again. And Aunt Lydia is just like, June, like she's shaking her head like, June, like stop it. But so that's the end of that scene. So then we go and we see June is waiting outside of the commander's door, at night. And he's like, it's late, and she says she knows, but he lets her in his office and everything. And he tells her, he's just asking her, why are you here? And she tells him, that Serena Joy wants to move her into a completely different district. And he was like, oh, does she? And she was like, yes. And I was just wondering if it would be possible to move closer to Hannah, because she's not going to have this child. She's already lost Hannah, and she promises like she won't see her, she won't speak to her, she won't touch, like Hannah will never know she's there. She just wants to watch her grow up, if as for as long as possible, because they have their expiration date. So when she gets become a certain age, she's probably going to go to the colonies anyways. So she just wants to watch her grow up and everything. And the commander is pretty much like, no, I've given you too many liberties, because she says if it's in your power, if you could do it. Now, mind you, he's a little bit hurt, because he's embarrassed, because the commanders, they didn't have the baby. They had this whole big celebration they were doing, and it didn't happen. Then there's Commander Horace, who has his baby naturally, and everything. And so he's a little bit embarrassed. So he's not feeling June at this moment. So this probably wasn't the best time for her to go to him. But she went to him and she asked, and he just pretty much told her, no, I've given you too many liberties and everything. So he's gonna redistrict her as Serena wishes, and that's that. And so he tells her to get out of his office. So then she was leaving out, and I was like, June, please don't break down again, because you know how she does her little neck. But then she stopped, she turns around, and she was like, I don't know why I thought you would understand, because you couldn't understand, because you don't have a child of your own flesh and blood. And she says, and you never will. And then she walks out, and I was like, okay, for the shot, but this could not end well for you throwing shots. But I like that she didn't break down like we've been seeing her do so much this season. And I'm gonna blame it on like the pregnancy hormones and everything, and that's why they have her breaking down so much. Because I like it when she's strong. So anyway, so that ends that scene. Now, so then Serena is in the garden, and the commander comes in, and she was like, how's working? He was like, challenging, because of course I'm sure they were all talking about him throwing this big hoopla and shindig, and it was false labors, which I don't, anyways, and it was false labor and everything. So he and Serena are both in the garden really mad at June, because she's been throwing shots at them or whatever. So they're both really upset. So he's like, but all we can do is wait on the baby. And she said, and Serena Joy's like, there's other ways to for the baby to come on out, to induce, and because they won't let her induce. So he's just like, just wait on it. And she's like, there's other ways. So he was like, well, yeah, I'm sure there are other ways. And she says, I was thinking the most natural way. And I was like, Serena Joy, you wrong for that, because I thought that earlier too myself, but I was like, they would never do that. Like, she's a high risk. He already tried to get at her earlier in the few episodes, and she told him no, and he knew it was best because of the baby. So I was like, they would never do that. Well, then cut to Rita going into June's room and telling her that Mrs. Waterford wants to see her. And as June is leaving out, Rita tells her, I'll talk about you to the baby, which was a nice moment. And so then June goes into the bedroom, and Serena Joy tells her, come sit on the bed. And so she goes and sits on the bed. And Serena Joy says, we need the baby to come on out, and there's a natural way to do it. So then it dawns on Serena Joy when June, when the commander comes into the room and he closes the door, what they're about to do. So she starts begging Serena, no, like, don't do this, Serena, please don't. And Serena has made up her mind. They both made up their mind, because they want to punish June, because they're mad at her right now. They're embarrassed. They're upset because she's taking shots. They want her gone. Well, the commander is upset a little bit more because he likes June. Plus, he wanted to be with her anyways. So this is probably, anyways. So then this next scene is really brutal, and I've been reading reviews about it. And it's just, I get why they had to do this scene, because it has to bring it all home to us about what's going on. But so Serena Joy like holds June down, and June is trying to like get up. She's trying to fight, but she's pregnant, and she's like 9 months pregnant, 8 or 9 months pregnant. So like there's not much she can do. And so then the commander gets on top of her, and he starts raping her. And we've never seen June like fight before. Like mostly all of her experiences in this bedroom with them has been her just detaching herself. But June hasn't had to do this in a long, like she hasn't been raped like the ceremony in a long time. And I think she thought she was safe because she was having the baby, that they wouldn't touch her. But they are. And so they do the rape scene, and she's crying in it, and it's just a disturbing scene to watch. And so after it's over and everything, and mind you that he should, like, she's pregnant, so he shouldn't be touching her now anyways, because what they wanted for the ceremony has happened. So now you just wait on the baby naturally. So anyways, once it's all over, it's like the commander and Serena Joy, it was almost like they came to themselves and they realized what they had done. And then Serena Joy looked like she had tears in her eyes, and she gets off, like she lets go and gets off the bed and goes into it's their bathroom. And Commander he walks away, he cleans himself up, and then he stops, he looks at June and walks out of the room. And June is just broken. She's just broken, laying on the bed, because it's just it's just nasty, and it's wrong, and it's just so many things that, like, who you're like who does that? But so then after all of that, we see the next scene is Nick looking towards the bedroom, June's room, and I guess he knows something's not right, but he doesn't know what's going on. But he's looking towards the bedroom and everything. So then we see Rita and Eden in the kitchen, and Eden says something about the trash, because Rita throws something in the trash, and Eden was like, my mother always made my dad take it out, but I'll take it. Eden was like, I'll take it. Rita does not like this little girl, but she was like, I'll take it. So when Eden goes to take out the trash, Isaac is there. And they've been flirting for a long time, and they start to kiss or whatever. And as he's kissing her, Nick comes outside to light a cigarette. He's taking a smoke break, and he sees him. He doesn't give a care, but he sees him, and he doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything. But Eden happens to look up as she's kissing Isaac, and then she's like, "Oh, no, no, no!" And she runs over to Nick and everything, and he goes in the house, and she gets on her knees and begs for forgiveness because she sinned against him and sinned against God, and she's unrighteous. And Nick is pretty much like, I don't care, like, you're good, I don't care. And she's like, you just saw me cheating, like, you should be upset, you should be angry, you should be hurt. And he's just like, you're good, you're not in trouble or anything. And she was like, why don't you touch me unless you don't touch me unless you have to? Don't you care? Like, I've never been kissed until tonight. Like, Isaac is my first kiss. And then she tells him, like, it's the handmaid, isn't it? You like her. And he was like, Eden, you're not making any sense. And she was just telling him, you like her. Tell me, that you like her, and what is it about her that you like, or whatever. And so he just tells her, I would never be with a handmaid. That's suicide. And Eden's all about the rules, so I guess she's gonna flow with that, because it looked like she did. And she was like, so you just don't care about me, you just don't love me. And she starts sobbing like a 15-year-old would. And so she starts sobbing, and Nick just says, I'm sorry. And man makes her cry harder, and he tells her, stop crying. So she puts her hand over her mouth. And listen, I don't like Eden, I don't like her character, but this actress that is playing Eden is very good. Like, she's doing a wonderful job of playing Eden, because she's getting that whole 15-year-old, like, this is how a 15-year-old would react if she was in a marriage. This is how she would react. So the actress who's playing Eden is very good. So then we see June is in her bed, and she is she's just in her bed, I guess she's processing everything that's happened, and the commander comes in, and so she slowly starts to get up, because this is the last person she wants to see, and he tells her, "I have a surprise for you." And so the next scene, we see her getting into the I think they have a Mercedes Jeep. We see her getting into the Jeep and everything, and he tells her, "You deserve this," and he gives her a kiss on the forehead, and she flinches away. And then he tells Nick, "Be back in 3 hours," before Serena Joy notices you guys are gone. Don't get caught and everything. So they're off. And so on the way, Nick is like, what happened, June? Like, what did he do? What did he say? What happened to you? But she's like out of it, so she doesn't say anything. So then they pull up to this mansion, this big house, and they get out. And when they walk inside, a guardian is there, and he says, "This way, you only have 10 minutes." So they walk inside, and we see Hannah and her Martha there. Sorry. So we see Hannah and her Martha there, and and June, of course, she gets emotional, because she wanted to see her child. So we find out that's the gift Commander was giving her, was to be able to see Hannah, which he could have did that in the first place, but he was giving her the gift of being able to see Hannah. So after she goes to Hannah, and Hannah is a bit standoffish, because she's mad at June, because she hasn't seen her in a long time. Plus, she's a child. This is a child, which this little actress that plays Hannah is very good as well. Like, everyone is really good except that one person. But so Hannah is angry with June. Like, she's asking her questions like, "Didn't you?" Oh, at first Hannah wouldn't acknowledge her as Hannah, so Martha said, "Well, her name is Agnes now." But anyways, so Hannah is standoffish towards June, and she's like, "Did it hurt?" And June was like, "What?" And she said, "When they hit you on the head." And June was like, "No, yes, but I'm okay now. I survived it." And Hannah said, she's asking her, "Didn't you look for me?" And she said, "Yes, I looked for you. I tried really hard. So did your father." And Hannah was like, "Well, why didn't you try harder?" Because, she's a child, so she doesn't get what's going on. Like, she doesn't get everything that's going on, that her mother, this isn't a, cakewalk for her mother either. But she's a child, so she doesn't understand that. So, there's just this June trying to reach out and just explain everything to Hannah. So she starts asking Hannah, about, Hannah was like, "But it's okay because I have new parents now," which really cut June. But, she doesn't want to show Hannah that she's upset. She just wants to enjoy this moment with her child. So she just asks her, "Do you like your parents?" Hannah, nods her head yes. She was like, do they punish you? And she was like, "Only if I'm bad." And so the Martha, to reassure June, she lets her know that, she's only been spanked twice. And you could tell that the Martha is really protective over Hannah as well. So then, the guardian says, "It's time, we have to go." And as they're leaving out, Hannah becomes upset. So, it's like Hannah was like, realizes that that's her mother, and she's not about to see her for a long time again, if ever. Because she asks her, "Will I see you again?" And June just lets her know, she's going to try her best to get her to see her. And everything. So as they're walking out, Hannah becomes really upset, and so they have to stop again, because June tells Hannah to come here, and she tells her, "You be good for your parents. You do what you have to do to survive." And she begs the Martha to take care of Hannah, and the Martha, tells her she'll watch over, she'll protect her as much as that Martha possibly could, because you could tell she cared for her. And so Hannah, the guardian, Hannah, and the Martha leave, and then June just breaks down in the, they're outside now, and so she's breaking down in the snow or whatever. And I'm like, okay, y'all need to go. And so they didn't leave in time because June is so upset. She's wailing in the snow, and they did not leave in time. So then, you hear cars approaching, and Nick tells her, get in the house. And he tells her to hide or whatever because a Guardian van has came up. So then Nick goes outside, and he's telling the Guardians, oh, I was just checking the house or whatever. Everything's good, locking it up, and I'm going to be on my way. And the Guardian's like, you're lying. Nobody's supposed to be out here. I think they tried to shoot Nick, but he stops the gun. But anyways, they knock him out. And then they get him in the van. And they say, get his keys and you follow me. So I don't know what they about to do with Nick. But that's how and so June is left out there at the commander's house and everything, all alone by herself. And so we don't know what's gonna happen, with her. A few things I was like, why didn't Nick park closer? Or if y'all were doing this secret meeting, why didn't y'all hide your vehicle? Like, why didn't y'all hide your vehicles? Like, if somebody did approach or come up, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. That's just the thoughts that I was thinking as this was going on. But overall, it was a dark episode. They had dark, but even the part with Hannah was dark because it was like they only that's your child, and you only can see your child for 10 minutes, and it's your child. Like, they didn't take her away because you were a bad. Like, it's not like today, like our day, like CPS took her away, or it's not like she was a bad. This is because this whole Gilead came through, and they were like, nope, you don't need your child. Because we want you to be raped and everything. Like, that's horrible. And especially like everything that goes on in the world today, like it's almost like the Handmaid's Tale in the world is like mirroring everything that's going on, which makes it even worse. But anyways, for this episode, I liked this episode. It was very dark, especially the rape scene of June. But I think we needed to I think we had to see that to understand, like, even when we think, oh, Serena Joy is, maybe she's soft. I don't like Serena Joy, but maybe she's softening. Nope, she's like, when they get mad, they still have all this control and power over the other people, and they'll enforce it if they have to, and they did with June on this episode. So tell me, guys, what you guys think. What do you think? I saw a lot of people comment, like, where do you think this series is going? And I'm just like, I have no clue. I have no clue, because it's like every episode you think, oh, it's good. Maybe they're gonna go this way, and they don't. They go completely the opposite way. So they go the complete opposite way. So I don't know. We'll see how it all turns out. Yes, we'll see how it all turns out, and how it's all, excuse me about that, and how it's all gonna go, because I have no clue. I'm like, well, maybe she's gonna get to Canada. And y'all had a lot of theories about it, and I enjoyed reading them all, because y'all had a lot of theories about it, and I'm like, that's possible, because you just don't know. So tell me what you guys think about this episode. Was there any part of it that, like, did you find the rape scene hard to watch? What about the whole Hannah scene? What do y'all think about Eden and Nick? Like, where is that? Well, he's gone right now. So, and I remember maybe on the first episode where they did or maybe it was a trailer, and I thought I saw Nick in trouble. Not this scene, but it's like, I think it's gonna be another scene where he's gonna be in trouble or something, but I forgot about it because it's been so many episodes, and now I don't know what's gonna happen to Nick, because Commander he's gonna throw him under the bus, and Andrew Price, the one that recruited Nick in, is not there. I don't know if the eye will help him. I don't know what's gonna happen. So anyways, we will see what's gonna go on. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'm sorry the video is so late. For all the work at home people who watch as well, I'm going to be coming with a few videos this weekend. Don't forget to check the Twitter, because I'll be dropping a few jobs that I won't put on here. But anyways, sorry guys. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and be blessed.